check I can do that. Brilliant. So I'm here to take about 10 minutes to talk you through the clinical supervision training program that we have available here in DCU. It's a postgraduate level 9 professional diploma available within 1 year. So I'm going to talk you through the diploma, but also I just want to briefly name a few other elements of our psychotherapy framework here in DCU. We provide a master's in psychotherapy training as integrative psychotherapy practitioners, doctors in psychotherapy. Professionals could also attend standalone professional development modules from within our psychotherapy masters. We also have standalone masters and PhD research students, and we have a healthy living centre available here in DCU where we provide low-cost community psychotherapy services. So just to briefly mention about the DCU, it is a training for practicing integrative psychotherapy with adults, individual and couples. The reason I just wanted to mention that in a little bit of brief detail is because if you are taking part in our professional diploma in clinical supervision, we often have volunteers from our Master's in Psychotherapy training program who are willing to be your supervisees during your training to help you reach your practice hours for the clinical supervision training. That would be in addition to other trainees or supervisees that you have, but it's just a useful extra resource to be aware of. I also want to mention the doctorate briefly because one of our modules on the clinical supervision training program is shared with our doctorate in psychotherapy program. Now, not all our trainees or students on the professional diploma in clinical supervision will be psychotherapists. It is open to all helping professionals. But for those who do join the diploma and who are psychotherapists, it might be useful to be aware that you have an option to progress on. You have to obviously separately apply and be eligible, but to progress on to the doctorate in psychotherapy. And every year a proportion of our diploma, our supervision diploma students will do so. And then you will have already completed one of the doctorate in psychotherapy taught modules, as it does overlap with the diploma module. And you also have experience of the DCU system and networks and supports that we have here in DCU. So just to focus in now then on our professional diploma in clinical supervision, as I say, it's a 1-year part-time postgraduate diploma, level 9 on our National Qualifications Framework, worth 30 credits. It offers training in the main models, modes and practices of clinical supervision for helping professionals. And we follow an integrative, relational, evidence-based approach to our clinical supervision training. I'm the chair of the clinical supervision diploma. My name is Aisling McMahon, and my colleague Stephanie Finan teaches on the program with me, and we also have additional qualified and experienced supervisors helping us with some of the skills practice, facilitation work and group supervision of supervision. And myself and Stephanie are active researchers in the field of clinical supervision, so we very much bring up-to-date and relevant evidence in relation to this field of practice as part of the training. The training program is suitable for people who have trained in one of the helping professions. We've no restrictions on that. It can cover a range. You can see some of the professions that are noted there. The majority of our trainees, our supervisor trainees on the program will be counsellors, psychotherapists or psychologists. And that's primarily because supervision training is required within counselling and psychotherapy in order to practice as a supervisor. But we do also get people joining the training program from other professions, and that brings a really valuable diversity in terms of what people bring in their lived experience and professional experience, but also practice in terms of working with different professionals so that you can gain experience in training and working across professions as a supervisor. And you can see some of the other professions that we have had on our training. And again, we're open to anybody who be within the remit of the helping professions. For those who are psychotherapists and where there are requirements for supervisor training, we meet the requirements that are set by the IACP and IHIP as noted on the slide there. Being a university accredited supervisor training program is accepted by both of those bodies, which is an important one to know for those within those professions. It involves 16 days, roughly 10 to 5, through the academic year, which runs from September to April. The programme is normally scheduled on Fridays and Saturdays, so that's how we plan it will continue, and that's how it certainly will be for the next academic year. It involves a range of methods and means of learning and engaging together through the programme. There'll be theoretical input, there'll be reading resources, book lists, mostly online books available for part-time students, which is makes more convenient for those of you who may be travelling also. We look at DVD material, we do skills practice in class, we have group supervision in class, and also as part of the programme, there's a requirement to do external supervision practice of 25 hours is the requirement, and also supervision consultation or supervision of that supervision practice of 5 hours at a ratio of 1 to 5 hours practice to 1 hour supervision consultation. In addition, you will have group supervision in class as well. Those added pieces, the external practice and the individual supervision consultation, you will need to organise yourselves, but we'll support you, and we'll discuss this in the learning group to consider how you can meet those requirements. And also the possibility of some of your practice hours being done with Masters in Psychotherapy students, as I mentioned earlier, is available too. So the structure, the main models that we attend to and learn in the programme are the cyclical and 7-eyed models, as well as a brief overview of the integrated developmental model. A couple of other models are referred to, but the key sort of foundational models would be the cyclical and the 7-eyed model. We'll also look at various critical issues in terms of practicing as a professional supervisor. So working with individual or group supervision or shared supervision, working in different work contexts or disciplinary contexts, ethical, legal issues, feedback evaluation, working with the supervision relationship is a key and central aspect of our work and training, and looking at issues in relation to diversity and power and so on within that relationship. And as I said earlier, evidence-informed practice would thread through the whole programme. And we also consider adult learning theory to support your supervision practice. You can see there are 2 main modules, evenly split, and we'll talk a bit about the coursework requirements now. So you will do an analysis, a recording and an analysis of your recorded practice, a presentation of your developing personal philosophy of supervision, and an essay which offers a critical review and illustration of a supervision model or an integration of more than one model and their application in practice. You also put together a very simple portfolio which needs to document that you've met the requirements of the training, and which will also be relevant for those of you who need to meet accreditation body requirements. There is an 80% attendance requirement for each module. So each module you need to be present at least 80% of the time. So just to mention that we have DCU is a fantastic learning environment. I'm aware that there are a number of other really good and valuable clinical supervision training programs in Ireland, many in private institutes and colleges, and they're excellent. I'm not looking to say they're otherwise, but DCU does offer a fantastic range of resources because it is in a university that we're offering this training program. So things like the level of literature and resources, reading resources available online and in our extensive library are fantastic. We share a lot of resources through our virtual learning platform, Loop. We also have IT support for those who may need that in terms of engaging with technology and learning. We have an excellent disability and learning support service. If you have any additional learning needs, the quality of resources and guidance that's there is second to none. We also set up a system where you have personal tutors assigned to you, should you need to discuss how you're managing and navigating returning to academic study. So how do you get into the programme? So you need a relevant undergraduate degree, at least a level 8 qualification on our qualifications framework of a lower second class degree at least, or equivalent. You can apply through a recognition of prior learning route also, which is noted there too. And just before going through that, you also need a minimum of 4 years relevant professional experience in recent years, and to successfully undertake a selection interview, which may be individual or group. In terms of the ORPEL route, what you're looking to get recognition for is the equivalence to Level 8 study. The relevant professional experience is required regardless. You need to be working and practicing in this area or have done so at least recently. And you can see the notes that are there about how to apply through the ORPEL route. So you initially need to apply online and be interviewed, and note that you're going to take this route, and then we can follow up with that after a successful interview. So here's the link to the online portal, and a link to a step-by-step guide. The closing date is the end of May, and then shortly after that you'll be applying for interview if you've met the eligibility criteria. And you can see what you need to include in your application. And just to note as well that you need to upload 2 references that are on the required template. So if you look at the web page, noted there, the link there is on the bottom of the slide, you'll see links. If you click on the links to the reference templates, so we ask that you will use those templates, give those to your referees, that they will return them to you, and then you upload them as part of your application. If you have a referee who's uncomfortable doing that and wants to send the reference directly to me as chair, please note that on your application. Give your referee my contact details, which is on the last slide. But please note in your application, because otherwise it could cause a delay in processing your application if it looks like you haven't uploaded all required elements. So fees, how much will it cost? €4,000 for EU students. It's a higher rate if you're non-EU. You'll see that on the links on the web page. You do have those slight extra cost of the 5 hours of external supervision consultation that was mentioned earlier. Great, so I think that's it. Any further inquiries, please do get in touch. We'd be delighted to hear from you, either myself as chair or Catherine Timmins as the programme administrator.